So, what if I told you that your very own mind has a kind of default setting, and that setting is a poverty trap? I know, it's a pretty radical idea, but the sources we're digging into today make the case that this is the single biggest thing holding most of us back from the wealth we're after. Let's really get into that.
Okay, just picture this. You're trying to get a car going, really build up some speed, but the road is just covered in speed bumps. Thump, thump, thump. You never get any momentum. Well, that's the core idea here. The argument is that our own minds, with all that constant frantic thinking we do, are creating these mental speed bumps. They just completely disrupt the flow and slow everything down, especially our ability to attract the good stuff we want. All right, so what exactly is this trap? Let's break down how this default mode of our mind is actually working against us.
I mean, think about it. From the moment we're born, we're basically trained to think, to analyze, to worry. It's what we do. But what if that's the trap? What if all that nonstop mental chatter is the very thing holding us back? The idea is that this default state creates this constant, low-level static, like a radio that's not quite on the station. It's a resistance that stops the clear signals from getting through. And the craziest part, most of the time we don't even notice it's on.
It sounds so simple, right? Just stop thinking. But have you ever actually tried to do it? I mean, really tried? It's basically impossible. The second you tell yourself, okay, don't think, well, you're thinking about not thinking. Your mind just doesn't take direct orders like that. For a mind that hasn't been trained, the thoughts just keep rolling in, one after another. And that constant noise, that internal static, that's the roadblock. So you might be asking, why is this inner chatter so powerful? Why is it so disruptive? Well, to really get that, we have to zoom out a bit and look at a really core principle. This idea that the world you see around you is nothing more than a mirror of what's going on inside you. Okay, let's break reality down into two parts, two planes. First, you've got the physical plane. This is everything you can see and touch, your bank account, your job, your car. Then there's the mental plane. That's your inner world, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. Now here's the absolute game changer. The physical world, the stuff you see, isn't the cause of your problems. It's the effect. Your inner world, that's the real cause. And to put that into perspective, get a load of this number. That's the tiny, tiny fraction of reality, of the whole electromagnetic spectrum that our eyes can even see. We are, for all intents and purposes, physically blind to almost everything. So when you spend all your energy trying to fix the problems you can physically see, stressing over the numbers in your bank account, putting out fires at work, you're only dealing with the tiniest tip of the iceberg. You're trying to fix the effect while the cause is just running wild. This explains so much, right? It's why when you fight life, life seems to fight you right back. When you try to solve an inner problem with an outer action, like let's say you feel a sense of lack, so you work frantic overtime, you're basically trying to punch a reflection in a mirror. It doesn't work. You push harder and harder out of that fear, and then bam, an unexpected bill shows up. Why? Because the root cause, that inner feeling of lack, was never dealt with.
So here's the bottom line. Your life is a mirror, period. If you look in a mirror and you don't like the frown you see, you don't go and try to scrub the frown off the mirror, right? No, you change your own face. It's the exact same thing with life. If your outer world feels chaotic or stressful or like there's never enough, that is a direct reflection of a chaotic inner world. You want to change your life? You have to start by changing your mind.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time diagnosing the problem. Now for the good part. What's the solution? And here's a hint. It has nothing to do with fighting harder or thinking more. It's all about the power of letting go. Remember when we talked about how you can't just order your mind to be quiet? Well, here's why that is. Your mind runs on habit, not on commands. The source material uses a perfect analogy for this. Think about an untrained dog. You can't just walk up to it and shout, "Sit," and expect it to work. It won't. But you can train it, right? Gently, consistently. Well, your mind is exactly the same. You can't force it into submission, but you absolutely can train it to be still.
And the core practice for doing this is called placing the mind. In Thai, it's Gan Wang Jai. Now, don't think of this as forcing your mind to be empty. That's not it at all. A better way to think about it is like you're clearing off a messy desk. You're just creating a calm, stable, open field where good things can actually happen for you, without you constantly interfering and trying to control and worry about everything. It's really the art of getting out of your own way.
All right, so how do we actually do this? How do you train your mind to become a magnet for wealth instead of a repellent? Let's get into the practical step-by-step techniques.
Okay, imagine the energy you're sending out comes in two flavors. First, there's what we'll call the spiky wave. You know this feeling.
It's that rushed, forced, almost desperate positivity. You're trying so hard to be optimistic because deep down, you're terrified it's not going to work out. That spiky, fearful energy actually pushes good things away. The real power, that comes from the deep wave. This is a calm, steady, confident feeling. It's a quiet knowing that what you want is already on its way. That is the state that attracts. So how do you generate that deep wave? Here is an incredibly simple but powerful practice you can do literally anywhere. Just breathe in for a count of 4. Then breathe out slowly for a count of 6. And after that, for the next 30 seconds, just be silent. Be still. Don't try to do anything. Just let that calm, open field appear. And that's really it. The magic number is just 1. 1 minute. You don't need to go meditate for hours on a mountaintop. Just 1 single minute of focused, intentional stillness is enough to set that field, to smooth out all those mental speed bumps we talked about, and to let things start working for you instead of against you. And hey, if you try this and find your mind is wandering all over the place during that minute, that is totally normal. It's okay. The source suggests using a simple anchor to help. You could focus your attention on the steady tick-tock of a clock's second hand, or just listen to the constant hum of a fan or an AC unit. Anchoring your mind to any single, steady, neutral point is an amazing way to train it to be still. And this all leads us to a final and honestly a really crucial distinction. This is a mindset shift that separates this whole approach from all that generic, just think positive advice you always hear. See, a lot of us think we need to force ourselves to think positive thoughts. The source calls this the act of thinking positive. And it's just that. An act. It's an effort, it's a performance, and it's usually coming from a place of lack. You're trying so hard because deep down you don't really believe you have it. But authentic positivity? That's completely different. It isn't an act at all. It's the natural result of having a calm, stable inner state. You don't have to force positive thoughts. They just show up, all in their own. And this brings us to a really advanced, almost master-level concept, the feeling of enough. In Thai, it's po lao. Now think about this for a second. If you're repeating your affirmations over and over and over, what are you subconsciously telling the universe? You're signaling that you don't trust it's actually going to happen. The real power move is to state your intention once with a calm confidence and then let it go. That silence, that feeling of, okay, that's enough, it's done, that is the ultimate signal of deep trust. I mean, this quote just sums up the whole shift perfectly. The goal is not to be constantly putting in effort, trying to create some kind of feeling or broadcast a signal out into the world. The goal is to simply become the calm, confident, stable energy yourself. Stop trying and just start being. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. The goal isn't just to be quiet, it's to be confident in your quietness. See, stillness without confidence is just doubt. But a mind that is still, and at the same time is deeply, unshakably certain that everything is working out for the best, well, that is the most powerful magnet in the entire universe. And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We are so conditioned to believe that success has to equal struggle, that it requires this intense, grinding effort. But what if the exact opposite is true? What could you actually attract into your life if your greatest effort was no effort at all?